Hey guys, good morning to everybody. Happy Monday. It's Daryl here. It's coming up on 8:35 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast, and I'm fired up. I just got back from my walk. I'm about to go on a bike ride, but I always say that I do my best thinking when the blood's pumping. And once I get an idea and some thoughts in my head, an idea to make a video, I have to get it out. So as you see, as soon as I came in the door, I have to make this video. There's a lot I want to talk about. Okay, I'll start off by this. Sometimes it's hard when you're creating videos, it's harder than I first imagined. I don't want to repeat subjects. I don't want to talk about things over and over again. I don't want to talk about things just for the sake of talking about things. I want to discuss things that are important, that are on people's minds, that need to be talked about, that need to be debated. And like I said, I don't want to keep going over the same stuff. So recently, I started thinking about not just looking at it from a liberal or Democrat point of view, but I want to know what conservatives are thinking, what Republicans are thinking, what's on their minds, how are they looking at things, how are they looking at us. So I started looking at some of these channels. I won't mention any names right now. I have a little bit, and that's another point I want to make. I don't want to fall into the trap of singling out somebody here, somebody there, and arguing with their subscribers or anything like that. I don't think that's conducive. I don't think that's positive. What I'd like to do is look at some of their videos or their comments and see what we have in common. Start there. Our commonalities, what we agree on as Americans. Then, once we agree and we have a basis for a debate, for talking, then we can look at the first subject, the main thing, one of the top things that we don't agree on, and take it from there. I think it's a way better, it's a more constructive way. I don't want to fall into the trap, like I said, of singling one channel out or one person out and say you're wrong. Oh my, screw you, screw your subscribers, screw your viewers, you're idiots. No. I've been trying to preach, positivity too. I think positivity is much more conducive to constructive, I think negativity just gets you negative results. And I think we already have a problem in the country with negativity. All right, so I'm looking at the other channels. One of the main worries, fears that I saw on some of these conservative channels was that this is how they phrase it, like progressives, liberals, communists, and I take exception to that communism is not part of any of people. I'll speak for liberals I know. Communism, you might be referring to democratic socialism and Bernie Sanders, which is not communism. But anyway, I don't want to nitpick. A fear that we're trying to destroy America, more exactly, we're trying to destroy or take apart or do away with American values, American traditions, classic America that we all love. And I thought about that long and hard. And this is where you talk about things that we have in common. Like I've already said a little bit on another video and a couple other places. When I listen to some of these conservative people talk, we have so much in common. We grew up exactly the same way, the same era, playing Sega or Atari or watching the same shows on TV, going to Boy Scouts. We're very similar. What I think happens truly is sometimes I think our politicians, for them to be important, look at politicians, our leaders, the president. Why are they needed? Conflict and war. The more conflict and war there is, the more that they are needed. The more that we argue amongst ourselves, the more important they become, because they become the symbol, the leader, the person that represents us. Think about this. If we all got along, there's no arguing, and I know it's hard to imagine, but if we all got along, countries, different states, different political ideologies, we all got along, no argument. How important would the president be then? Not as much at all. I really think too is we look, when we're arguing amongst ourselves and blaming each other, we let them off the hook. I truly believe that too. This is where I think big corporations, people that are really making the money from us, get away with it more when we're just infighting between ourselves and blaming each other. It's like kids in a family, just little kids blaming each other. So the traditions, I really think it's a misconception. What I think this is, like when they say progressives or liberals are trying to do away with American traditions, like saying Merry Christmas. And that's not true at all. I think, and what politicians turn it into is that, but that's not what it is. I think liberals and Democrats, we think about inclusion, and having everybody included, fair rights, like under the Constitution and Declaration of Independence, our Bill of Rights, that all people, everybody's included, but not to take away somebody else's traditions or rights, to give somebody else other traditions and rights. That's not what we're looking for, and that's the way our leaders, I think they try to spin it sometimes to get us arguing amongst ourselves, and that's not what we're talking about. I have no problem with saying Happy Hanukkah to somebody. I think it's cool. I enjoy knowing other cultures. When I grew up, I wanted to know other languages, other cultures, because I was looking for a commonality. I was looking for the truth that we all shared, the bigger truth of why we're all here, how we got here, and all that. And I wanted to know more. I want to know more about other foods, other religions, other languages. And that was my goal. And to this day, I don't mind people speaking Spanish. I want to learn it. I want to try new foods. Saying Merry Christmas doesn't bother me. I think sometimes the politicians spin it that, or taking away people's guns. That is false. Nobody wants to take away guns. I think it's spun that way. I think, unfortunately, like in North Carolina, a politician may say something wrong, and it comes out wrong, and people use it to no end and make it. I can't remember now the governor, something he said, and it makes. I think it's perfect fuel for misinformation. I think we just want to get rid of mass shootings. I think it's too late to take away anybody's guns. I think this is just another excuse to get us, they want to take away all our guns. They want to take away our rights and subject us to tyranny. Hell no. Hell no. Do I want people to come into this country undocumented, illegal, and have all the rights I have to vote? No, of course not. I don't think people that aren't, if you're not a citizen, you shouldn't be given a vote. That's a right, a privilege that as a United States citizen, I get to pick who my politicians are. If you're not a citizen of this country, no. And if you grant people that aren't citizens all these rights, then what reason do they even have to become a citizen if they have all the rights and privileges already? So I don't agree with that. And I think a lot of Democrats and liberals probably agree with me, but it's spun by the politicians, by people in charge, by extremists. It's spun to make it sound like, oh, we want all the foreigners to come into the country and vote Democrat. No, I want an equal, fair election. Equal, fair, and whoever wins. That's what I want. I think that's what most people want. I don't condone cheating. I don't want cheating. Even if it means that my guy wins, I don't want that. That's not a win. I think we all know that. I think the majority of people know that. But I think it's spun by the politicians, by the people who are extremists, the people that want us to fight amongst ourselves so they don't see so we don't pay attention to what they're doing. That's what I believe. There's nothing wrong with traditions. And traditions are great. But I think what we're talking about is fear of change. Things change. And it's not the fault of the progressives, the liberals, or the conservatives. Things change. And as they change, some people are slower to adapt. And some people just flat out don't want to adapt. And that's okay too. But if you're an American citizen, everybody has rights to enjoy their freedoms. It's about inclusion, I think, from the progressive point of view. That if people want to say Happy Hanukkah, then they have the right to say Happy Hanukkah. Does it mean that we all should say Happy Hanukkah? No, of course not. Nobody's tradition should be done away with. It's just inclusion, including more people into this melting pot. Doesn't mean if we're giving more people rights that as a citizen they deserve, that doesn't mean we're losing rights. I heard it put one way that when you light a candle, it doesn't take any more, I forgot how it was phrased, it doesn't take away the flame from your candle when you light another candle. It doesn't put out yours, something like that. So yeah, I want to do some more videos talking about this. I feel strongly about this. I think there's a misconception, a lot of misconception. When I look at what people are talking about on these channels, the highly conservative channels about guns, conservative, hell yeah, But I think we have a lot in common, more than we realize. I do. I don't want to talk about the misconceptions, the way that the people that I identify with, conservatives and liberals, that I think we're being painted in a way that just gets us arguing, a false way. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Traditions are great. Nobody wants to do away with traditions or the American. I grew up I was a Boy Scout. I love it. I love America. I love the beauty of America. What concerns me is the same thing that concerns you guys, the conservatives: tyranny, destruction of the Constitution, the loss of our basic rights, authoritarianism. That's what scares me. And also the loss of this beautiful land. I think I personally believe that our land needs to be protected. Being part Native American and growing up in the woods, I feel very strongly about that. And this is one thing that Donald Trump does not seem to be concerned about. It's more important. It seems he finds money, oil exploration, minerals, and all that more important. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I think we're better off going a green route with solar energy, hydro, and the way the rest of the world. That we're talking about progress and change, which is scary, but it's it's inevitable, and it's not the fault of any one group that things change and things progress. All right, that's my video for today. I want to do a next video on the Electoral College versus one vote, one person, one vote, because I strongly believed in one person, one vote, but I've been looking into it more and I want to do some more research. And when I say research, I don't mean watching YouTube videos. I mean actually going to the library, reading books. So it's going to take me a little while, but one of my next videos, I want to be about the Electoral College versus one vote, one person, one vote system. All right, so stay tuned to that. All right, you guys have a good Monday.